we're going to do a pod review today on this pepper plant right here. And these are called the Cumra cherry. I think it's a Turkish variety of cherry pepper. I'm not sure. I'll put the information I can gather from the internet on this particular pod in the description as usual. But that is called the Cumra cherry. You can see this plant's over almost 6 feet tall now. I mean, this is just about over my head. And I'm 5'9", so that's got to be very, very close to 6 feet. This plant really did get pretty tall this year. Never seen it get this tall before, but this year it really got tall. I planted it in the ground and it just did quite well. So we got a couple that are ready on here, and these took a long time to get ripened. I lost about maybe 6 very nice sized pods off this plant due to insect damage. But you can see these are gorgeous little cherry peppers. Actually, these aren't little at all, actually. These things got some size on them. They're pretty good size for a cherry pepper, but they can get maybe twice as large as these. I got a couple on here that are quite big, as you can see right down here. These are very large. That's about the size of a small apple, that one. And this one's pretty sizable too, but during the winter months, when things are starting to slow down, the peppers will come out more abundantly, but much smaller. So as the fall time comes in, the pods will be much smaller. They'll start to get smaller. They'll be even half this size even. And it'll produce quite a wide amount of them, quite a wide variety of sizes. And these are really good for pickling. They're very thick wall peppers, by the way. Yeah, I was a little upset. The insects really did do a number on me this year, but even with all the damage the insects has been doing, I'm still walking away with a pretty decent harvest. So there you go. We got a triple right there. I think is there any more in here? No, I think that's it. But we probably got about 2 dozen more pods on this plant. Maybe more. We've got about 30 or plus peppers still on this plant right now waiting to be ripened. So the sooner you get these red ones off, the sooner the others will start turning red, and so on and so on. And it's not so much that we want it to flower again, we just want the other pods to ripen up, because within the next 2 weeks we're probably going to be getting our first frost, and these need to come off and out of the garden. So let's bring you inside and show you a little closer look at this. Cumra cherry. Yeah, boy. Look at that. These are gorgeous peppers, guys. Beautiful, beautiful little peppers. You see, very common for these to get cracking on it. That's really associated more or less with temperature. Affects that, the temperature, and I forgot what else they said. I think moisture or something, humidity or something has something to do with it, with peppers particularly. But that's normal with a lot of peppers. You'll see this cracking effect on a lot of peppers. Some exhibit it more than others, but this particular variety will get it if the peppers are on the plant long enough. So we just put these down, give you an idea what that looks like. Isn't that nice? Look at that. Cumra cherry. Just an absolute gorgeous little pepper. Now, I don't know if these are hot or sweet. I don't remember. I did try one last year. Now, this particular plant, I started in 2016. And I kept it alive. I started in 2016. It stayed small and stunty through the whole year. It put out like 1 pepper. Then I brought it back in. I trimmed it down. It stayed alive again through 2017. So it stayed alive through that one, went all the way into 2018, and it's still alive. I finally planted it out, and now it's growing like you wouldn't believe. So it's really conducive to the type of growing conditions you provide for it. This particular variety didn't really care for being in pots, and that's where it was this whole time. Planted it outdoors in full sun, gave it some fertilizer, some good soil. That plant went absolutely nuts. So yeah, this particular variety does best outdoors in your garden in very, very good soil. And don't water it. I never water my peppers, but the only time I water it is with fertilizers, and that's only a few times during the growing season. And then generally that's it. It just gets whatever rain or dryness, that's it. So anyway, there it is. Let's turn you around and give it a go. Alright, we're doing another pod review today. It's going to be on this pepper right here, and this is called the Cumra Cherry. The Cumra Cherry. Again, I think this is a Turkish pepper, and I'm not 100% sure, but I'm about 90% confident that it's from somewhere in that region of the world. So here it is. It's a nice pepper. This is about a medium size. These can get almost about double the size of what you see right here. These can get quite large, these things. And towards the end of the season, when everything really slows down in growing, they can get a lot smaller. So they're going to range in size from like generally this size to being twice the size to being much smaller towards the end of the year. So you'll get a nice selection of sizes where it'll be really nice for pickling if you're looking to get pickled hot cherry peppers or cherry peppers out of your harvest this year. So let's give it a bite. Well, there's a little heat on it. Very, very low. The pepper itself was very hard. It was very hard, like harder than a unripe apple. It was very, very hard and crispy. It's very nice tasting. It's very, very hard pepper. I don't know any other way to describe that. And it took a lot of effort to chew this up and swallow it. The skins were actually a little bit strong, like they're very hard to snap through that skin. It was just very, very coarse. Wall thickness is about average wall thickness, medium wall. I wouldn't say it's thick wall, and I wouldn't say it's thin wall, though what I will say is where the ribs are, the wall thickness increases right around those ribs, so it's thicker around the ribs. But it's a nice pepper. There was a slight bit of heat on it, but almost nothing, to be honest with you. It's pretty much gone right now, but I did detect a very slight little bit of heat. Let's finish off the rest of that pepper. That the skins on this thing were almost equivalent to like the skins of an apple. It was very much like the skins of an apple. It's not so much that they were hard skins or anything, or tough or anything. They were just thick-skinned and very hard to like chew. Though they did break up nicely as you chew it with the pepper. It's not like you couldn't chew the skins like an apple. They broke up good with the pepper. It's just these skins were incredibly thick and strong. Very, very strong. Now, there was a hint of heat on it, but ever so slightly, almost completely undetectable. If I was to give that a Scoville, I would probably say it was like less than 100 on a Scoville, maybe like 50, if 50. It was so undetectable, I did kind of pick it up a little bit, and it disappeared almost immediately. So it's basically a sweet pepper, but there was a hint of something, which tells me that the plant has the ability to produce some of these peppers that may be a little bit on the warm side. What could it potentially go to? I probably wouldn't put it past maybe 500, maybe even, it could even get to 1,000. I wouldn't put it past that, but there is some kind of heat on this. I have to mention that. But this particular pepper was basically sweet. I just was able to pick it up very, very slightly. As far as the way it's affecting my mouth, the heat, it's virtually undetectable. I couldn't even tell you what part of my mouth was being detected. Maybe very, very ever so slightly on my tongue. If I really concentrate, I could kind of feel that maybe there was heat there. Other than that, it was so low I can't even really describe where it would be burning or anything, because it's virtually undetectable. Here's a look at the core. Typical cherry pepper type core, very round. A lot of seeds on that. It's a very nice pepper. This is definitely a pickling pepper. And it's definitely, believe it or not, great for stuffing. Because this particular kind of pepper, you can just cut the top part off like that with your knife, pull the core out, stuff it with your meat and rice or whatever you want to stuff it with. You stuff it in there, pre-cook it first. Always pre-cook your meats first. Then stuff it back in there and then put it on the grill and let it, heat up for a little bit. These will be great for that. They'll hold their shape, and you could probably cook them for quite a while in there before it gets soft to the point where it's, an unpleasant type soft. I would say it would be the best for either stuffing this pepper or pickling. That would be the best thing. As far as drying it goes, I guess you could dry them. Why not? Just dry them in a dehydrator. It's just going to take a really long time to dry them whole. So just keep that in mind. You could do it, but it's going to take a long time. It's quite a thick pepper, and that skin is going to make it really hard for that moisture to come out. Maybe if you cut them in half, it'll be different. So what stands out about this pepper the most is definitely that really hard effect that it has, and the very thick skins. I mean, these skins are the thickest skins I've ever had on a pepper. I've never had skins that were very similar to like the thickness of an apple. Never had anything like that. This is a first, guys. This skin on this thing was extra, extra thick. The flavor, as far as the flavor goes, it was slightly on the tangy side of things, a little bit on the tangy side, and it did have sweetness with it too, because they were fully ripened, but it did have a tanginess to it. Wasn't unpleasant, but it was there. Some people are off-put by that. I'm not, for the most part, unless it's a really hot pepper. So really, that's all I can say about the Cumra cherry. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.